nature. Once you start on the ants and then zoom.
Okay, well.
Make it like a nature show.
I don't do nature shows. All right. Can you plug that in?
Yes.
Right there. Look, it's just me. It probably can't. Okay, maybe that works. There we go.
Once again, we would like to say, if anyone out there would like to volunteer to be the cameraman every week.
Gotta put up with this.
The tech crew. No.
Okay, can't hear. Okay, hold on, Bill. Did it come in? Hold on one second. Oh, I think it's because I didn't turn the thingy on.
Okay, now, yeah, off.
All right.
And then back on.
I'm going to hand this to Amy.
Okay.
I'm going to turn it. No, you just hold it towards your face.
They want to see me?
Yeah.
Hello. Welcome. I'm going to start. Well, I better not because...
No, they can't.
Yeah, okay. We're beautiful. I bet you can hear me a little bit.
Is that better?
Maybe. All right. Hey, Bill.
Is that better?
All right.
Bill?
Can we hear now? Can hear now. Thanks, Dad.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, good.
Can hear now. Great.
It helps when I turn on the on button.
Yes, that does help. The on button helps. So now, here we are in this gorgeous afternoon. I know we always start our videos with a weather report. So today is a great day to be outside. So we are very happy to do that. Look what I'm doing. We bought this fancy selfie stick, and I'm totally not working it right.
Yet. There
so
you go.
I'm gonna put my hand on.
There.
What? Look at this.
Just don't be like.
Watch out, folks. Okay. So
If you could, yeah, like we're farther away.
But here's the problem. Now I need my reading glasses to see the comments. So
I'm going to say everybody's saying hi. How are ya? We're doing
Everybody's
great.
saying hi. Thank you, Bill. It's working now.
Okay, good.
Anna's watching.
Okay.
All right.
So you can see at the bottom, stars are enabled once again.
Oh, yes.
It's pinned there.
And you know what? Those stars that we've earned so far, thanks to everyone's support, have helped to buy us products like this selfie stick.
Which they can't see, but we know we have it.
These lavalier mics. And every time we'll just add a little bit more to our super professional production. And
once we get like thousands and thousands of stars, we could pay for a cameraman. That's the goal.
Yes, yes. Can I pick the cameraman?
Yeah, we can pick the cameraman.
I'm sure there's a fireman or two who aren't busy.
No, I don't want any of those guys. Fire or police, none of them.
You know.
All right, so we are, yeah, it's really nice out.
Hey, Mac.
We are
Does that say
outside.
hi? Yes, it does. Oh, y'all, this is bad. I can't see anything. Yeah.
So I feel like whoever's holding the selfie stick, it's their job to read this stuff. So I'll give that to you.
Definitely am going to be needing glasses. But we are outside today. We are at the,
Somebody gave stars, so thank you.
Oh, who gave stars?
Terry
Pierce, thank you very much.
Thank you.
So welcome to History Loves Company, week 5 million. I don't know, how many weeks are we on now? Don't know. It's a beautiful day in April. That's all I know.
Yes.
Don't know what day,
and
it's a beautiful day.
live.
Yes.
Thank you for everybody who watched last week's pre-recorded premiere video.
Yes.
Our first stop in the Tombstone Tourism Tour 2021.
Hope everybody enjoyed it. I didn't watch it because I was on vacation.
I was on vacation too, but I watched it because I was sitting drinking a coffee. Well, also because I love cemeteries, and it was a cemetery one.
It was.
And you did too, don't lie. had a really, really good time at that cemetery.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got some more great ones coming up. But so we're outside again today, and we are on a piece of property that we hope that many of you are familiar with. And we expect, Anna Hunter, I know if Eddie's there with you, we expect you guys to chime in as you can, and I'll do my best to read them as they pop up, with memories of the Waterman Street School. So we are on the site today of Waterman Street School, which for locals is, for those who grew up in this area of a certain age, have very fond memories. Their parents went to school here, grandparents. It was Marietta School System's very first school building, right? Yeah. Right?
Free public school building.
Thank you.
I would clarify.
Free public school building. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. We had other schools, but they weren't free. They were private schools. Can you hear the train from here, honestly? It follows us everywhere. Can y'all hear? I hope y'all can't hear that.
Well, you're not in Marietta if you don't hear the train.
I know.
I mean, seriously.
I'm like, where is the train? Goodness.
It's right across Atlanta
Wow.
Street.
So we are standing. Let me turn this around here. We're standing in a parking lot right now, okay? And there's an entrance down here that we drove up. That is Waterman Street. So that's what the school was named after, the street that's right there. And we're going to get into the history of that in a minute. And then there's a lovely little green space right here on the side of this parking lot. Okay, that's where we were standing. And I'm trying to swivel slower so I don't make everybody sick. The building over there and the people who own this property now is the Salvation Army. And they have owned it since the 1970s, actually. So they are another business that's been here for decades in this community. And they built on the side of the Waterman Street School. So one of the really cool things about this property, as we were walking around before, kind of getting a lay of the land, there is still many different signs of the school around that you can find hidden in the ground and all that.
So we walk around like 5 minutes before we go live. Amy's like, I like this. And I'm like,
I think it'll
well,
work.
we can't change it. So, but it was funny though too. We're getting ready and somebody pulled up and said to us, oh, is this site for sale? Because we're walking around doing our thing, and they thought maybe we were measuring, and we're like, no, it used to be the site of Waterman Street.
We look so professional. They assumed we were top-selling real estate agents.
I mean, I had papers with maps on it, so I mean, it is legit.
You know.
But they had no idea that a school used to be here.
Yeah.
And I think they live across the street.
I know. So if you'll notice again, across the street, let's walk down here.
Yeah, let's walk down. You're fine.
Are some beautiful, brand new-ish, I don't know how old, but newish.
Within the last 10 years.
Within the last 10 years, for sure. Maybe the last 5 years. Townhomes, which are a kind of common sight around Marietta these days, which has its pluses and its minuses. We can all debate that over a good glass of wine sometime. Jack, I guess the steps are still there? Yes, the steps are still here. We're going to walk over to the steps. They're way down there in a minute, okay? And we're just starting over in the corner of the property here. But, yeah, so that's the view up Waterman Street. And then, see if there's the train down there.
So that's what you're seeing is the train in Atlanta Street.
Yeah.
This part of Waterman Street goes from Atlanta Street to Alexander. And then it takes a jag. Like you'd have to turn on Alexander, then turn again on Waterman Street, go down a little bit farther to, I want to say, South Avenue maybe. You got to turn on South Avenue, and then it jags again to Fairground.
We didn't do all that to get here. We just turned on Alexander.
Because
and then
the
from
school
Roswell
was on this block, this part of the street.
Oh, you're saying the street
the
goes
street
all the way.
Itself goes,
Waterman Street goes far.
Technically, you could take it with a few turns all the way to Fairground.
Oh, okay. Okay. So we're on the far western end of it.
Yes.
Okay. So this wall behind us here, we are going to go out on a limb and assume that that's an original wall to the school building. And
not to the school building, to the school property.
To the school property, I should say.
No, that's different.
Now, how old is original? Well, let's get to that. Let's get off of the street so we don't get
I don't want to get run over today.
Let's go back up to this beautiful shady area so I can read any comments that come in.
No, you can't. You don't have your reading glasses on.
Well, at least I won't glare. Okay, let's come under this tree. Let's go stand by the old historic tree over here. Love it when
If I
trees
get
are
bit by a
historic.
snake, I'm going to blame you.
There's no snakes over here.
How do you know?
Okay. All right. So, let's talk history. How about?
Okay.
Go ahead. And go.
All right. And
Go.
start. Okay, so before we get to the school, who is Waterman? Guess what, everybody?
Who brought the water
Nuh-uh.
to the yard?
She! I love it when streets and things are named after women.
Oh, yes.
So, Mildred. There's a name that needs to be brought back.
Mildred. I like that name.
Mildred Waterman.
This is a workout with this
That's-
selfie stick.
well-
I like it. It's good. I need to work out.
So Mildred Waterman is buried over at the city cemetery, and if I'm not lucky and my paperwork's not in here, I'm just gonna have to wing it. Oh no, here it is.
You found it. Have you included her on a tour before?
I have
Okay. All
a
right.
tour, ironically enough, called "Where the Streets Get Their Names."
Let's see, Van. Sadly, my husband fought the fire all night that burned down Waterman Street School as a Marietta firefighter. Oh my goodness, Van. We're going to get to that. We did see that
yes.
fire was what eventually took it down. So, any kind of memories or stories from that night that you have, hold that thought, and then jump in when we're talking about the fire for sure.
So Mildred Meals, that was her married name. First husband dies.
Okay.
She marries a man named Asaph Waterman
Okay.
in Augusta.
Okay.
So that was her second marriage. His first, he was 21 years older. She knew what she was doing. These planes, my goodness, they're very loud. When he dies in 1846, he leaves her with money. And
Okay.
so she proceeds to buy 40 acres from Leonard Winters.
Winters. Is that
Not the
Winters?
same.
Not Winter Street?
Of Mississippi. Now, he could have been not related to John Winters, that
Yeah,
Winter Street
that's
is named
right.
after,
Okay.
and moved.
Yes.
Because we're talking 1848. You're talking, what, about 15 years since the county's been founded and land
it's really-
properties?
and actually, at that point, this property out here would have been way out.
Oh, yeah,
I
for
mean,
sure.
this was way out from the city, you know, for the town. I would say, of Marietta at that point. And the fact that it's a woman, you know, I don't think female property owners and business owners were as uncommon as has been projected. They were there. We just don't hear about them as often because, you know, Louisa Fletcher was technically the owner of the Kennesaw House Hotel when they bought that.
It would have been more uncommon if she had been an unmarried woman. Or had never been married.
Right.
Like,
that's true.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
So she was able to buy 40 acres from Leonard Winters, and it's this property that we're on. Now, what Amy didn't mention when we first started is, because we can hear it, and I'm sure you guys can't, is the loop is literally right over there.
Let me turn this around.
So the south loop is just behind
those trees. See that red car right there? That's my car. Just behind there's a fence, and that's the loop. So the 120 loop, South Loop, whatever you want to call it.
Frozen.
Hey, Vicky.
Are we frozen, guys? Let me know.
It says working well here.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you, guys. So.
Because I did forget
We have
to switch the Wi-Fi.
A dongle dangle.
Yeah, it's our thingy. Like I
Okay,
said,
okay.
I forgot. Okay, so Mildred Waterman built her property here. She's got a lot of family that ends up living in this house because, you know, whoever's got the biggest house, that's where everybody goes. So she builds a property here. That property is then burned because living with her at that time was, and actually, hold on, let me take a half a step back. So Mrs. Waterman's property had a little street frontage giving you access to Decatur Street.
Ooh, where was that?
On the
Decatur
west.
Street.
And
wait, let me guess. Decatur Street? That's going to be Atlanta Street. No. Yes, Atlanta
Right.
Street.
And then Powers Ferry Road on the north.
What?
You want to take a guess what that is?
Powers Ferry Road on the north?
Yeah.
On the north. Powers Ferry. Roswell? Oh, okay. Wow.
So you got to think about times here.
Okay.
So she's living in the house, 1864, Sherman's forces are coming through. So the Waterman place is burned by Sherman's forces, which is one of the handful, I would say, of houses that are actually burned because, not a whole lot of them. Because living in this house with her is a man, named William Phillips. who is her son-in-law, and William Phillips organized Phillips Legion.
Right.
So, so he was some will argue that he's a general, but if you're going by Confederate states, he's actually a colonel.
Okay, colonel, yeah.
If I have that right. Yeah. Somebody let me know, because I want to make sure I have that right.
And Phillips Legion was like a local militia, wasn't it? Yeah, it wasn't necessarily an official
not a
unit. Or
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So their house gets burned. They end up trucking way out to Soap Creek, living in a little house that they had there, but that area had been ransacked too in July of 1864. So they live out there. They build a new house here later, which that house is not here anymore, which we'll talk about in just a minute. But Mildred ends up dying in 1878 at the age of 86. She is buried in the city cemetery. If you want to know where go see the Waterman graves, it is on the top of the hill between if you know where the brick pavilion is between the Confederate cemetery and the city cemetery, they're almost directly across from where S.V. Sanford's grave is, right near the slave lot. Okay. That's where they're under the big magnolia. That's where they are.
Hey, we're going to get into S.V. Sanford.
I know. Like, connections.
I bet many of you know who that is. But first, okay, so that's who it's named after. That's who the street's named after. That's the property. That is who not owned it first, but built the house.
Well, in essence, the first family that actually lives on this land for quite some time.
Yeah. I have to restart my browser when they start freezing. Oh, I'm sorry, Bill. Hopefully that's not happening too often.
Yeah.
Okay, so then Mrs. Waterman, well, it ends up being the property of Phillips.
The Phillips family, yeah.
Phillips family ends
because
up holding the property.
The male Waterman line dies out.
Okay.
So the Phillips line is what continues.
Yes, okay. Then in 1892, the city,
1891 is when this whole discussion of having a free public school goes on. And in order to do that, you have to go through the legislature, the Georgia State Legislature.
Okay, to get a free public school system.
To get a free public school system, and then you have to, in essence, put it on a ballot, and that's what they did.
Because in the end, it's taxpayer money that's paying for it.
Right.
So that makes sense. Now, before this time, so that's 1891. Before this time, there were a number of schools in Marietta and Cobb County. There were a number of women would just kind of open up schools, and, in their homes. You'd see that commonly. There was also the Marietta Male Academy and Harwood Female Seminary, which Harwood was up on Kennesaw Avenue, wasn't it? Yeah. It was the Archibald Howell House. Yeah, that's where that was. And the Male Academy, where was that?
They tried to get it on the location of GMI, but I don't remember if they actually succeeded in it.
We're going to have to look that up. But Harwood was, they offered the building of where Henry Green Cole's hotel was.
Yes.
They did. They didn't have it.
There was a movement just after the Civil War in 1867 by Reverend William Mansfield to create a free school for, in essence, poor white children. And that they did have a school, but it wasn't a school system. Let's put that in the idea. Until 1891 when they decided to do this. Okay. But it was a voter thing. You had to vote for it. And there were all these ads in the paper saying, we're not sure if it's going to make it. Let's remember, at this point, this is white males who have the right to do the voting in this. Not women, not African Americans.
Right.
And so they weren't sure. Now, these two mamas would have been saying to their husbands, you're voting for this because my kid needs to be out of this house doing something.
Educated. Educated, yeah, for sure.
It ends up passing, like, unanimously. I mean, it was a vast majority.
Ready for it. I think so.
Yeah.
Alice McClellan Burney, who we covered not too long ago in one of our videos, was the founder of the National PTA. She taught at a school in Marietta before this time as well.
Yes.
But that would have been one of the smaller schools. So what they ended up doing is they started the school system in 1892, and they started with two schools. Right, they started with a white school and a black school, so African American students and Caucasian students. And the white school, it wasn't named Waterman Street yet because they weren't here yet.
Because it wasn't here yet.
So it was just an academy of sorts, but they used the Harwood property.
They broke it up into like a bunch of different things.
Yeah.
So if anybody has this book,
Yes.
it's called Centennial Celebration. It was the 100th anniversary of the school system. So doing the math, I say 1992. Is that
Sure.
right? That this was published. So they create the school system. You've got men like Joseph Stewart became the school system's first superintendent, and S.V. Sanford. Why did I say Stanford? Because it's Stedman. That's his first name.
Oh, yeah.
Stedman
Sanford.
was the first high school principal. Okay, and then at that point, it was 377 white children and 356 black children that are enrolled.
So almost 50-50.
Almost, yeah. Okay, and then you were going to say something. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's fine. So, 1892, they start the school system, but they don't have this building yet.
No.
So they raise the money to build the building. They build the purchase the property here on Waterman Street, and that's when they build the school. Now, somewhere we've got photos of the school.
I didn't bring those.
There was one on our Facebook page. Well,
hold on a second.
Okay. All right. Well,
How do y'all know what it looks like?
We're gonna post in our comments.
There's a drawing of it.
There's a drawing of it. So look at that. It's a big building. We do have some photos we can post in the comments.
I can describe it. You want me to describe it?
Yes.
I will describe
exact architectural terminology.
Dimensions?
Yes.
I don't have that part. Okay. A 3-story brick building to serve 500 white students, and then the architects were Hayden and Wheeler of Atlanta, and the contractors and builders were Henderson and Austin, which Henderson was one of the ones that helped build the courthouse a few years later.
Yeah.
And the depot, which we've done as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
Which was 1898. 8, yes.
Because in the new exhibit, it's in there, and it's
yes.
1899. And there was a cornerstone, and the words on the Waterman Street School cornerstone said, "The school will be the brightest gem in the gem city. Let us hope that many noble characters will be built within these walls."
It was the brightest gem when it was on fire.
But you know, what you guys really can't get from, like, right where we're standing right now, the location of it at the top of the hill was probably just spectacular.
We can't see right. Oh, we'll get to when we go
stairs.
There's a view of the new courthouse that's over there. It's really cool. It's a great view. So they built the building here, and yes, S.V. Sanford, who we mentioned, he was the first principal. Eventually, he became the superintendent of the school system, and then he left for, I don't know,
just a little job,
a little school in Athens, called UGA, or at that point, I don't know if it was University of Georgia.
It was.
Okay, University of Georgia, and he ended up
getting a whole football stadium named after.
Yeah, he was really pretty big over there. He was very heavy in the athletics.
He ended up running the athletic department.
Yeah, and anyways, ended up going up the chain into the Georgia University system. Yeah. So he was pretty high up, but he started here and he is buried here, as Christa mentioned earlier. So that's a pretty cool connection. But this is the school where he started. Are you sure we didn't have pictures? I think they're in here. He might be in pictures in here that I didn't save the page of. See if you can flip
his
through.
picture.
Yes.
Oh, you want his picture? Oh, I can find his picture. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love
He's
him.
actually pretty good looking.
I love him.
Wow, he's a little cutie. S.V. Sanford.
S.V.
Yeah. See if we can find him.
No, that's the Gober. There's this Harwood.
It's somewhere in there.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
While she's looking for his...
Here he is.
Oh,
here he is.
Wait a minute.
I knew I'd find it when you turned it.
Okay.
Look at him.
There he is. Look at that cute little...
I have an older,
young.
distinguished picture of him on the panels in Atherton Square.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's a good shot. So, as we... before we leave over here, because we can move around a minute, we did find... You know how I like to find random little bits of history? The cool thing about this property is that if you walk around it, everywhere there are evidence. There are pieces of evidence of the school. There's random bricks all over the place. Look at that. If somebody didn't get a commemorative brick of Waterman Street back in the 70s, then
no, this is no, we're not condoning that.
No, it's private property. So really, just go into the Salvation Army and ask if you can have a brick. That's all. That's all. Just get permission.
What did you figure out this was? This rock?
I figured out it was a rock with a pipe coming out of it. That's the official determination. There, it looks like some sort of a support system for something. I don't know what.
I don't know. I've never seen a building on it.
Came all the way over here.
It doesn't, though.
So I don't know if maybe that was a flagpole. Maybe there was a plaza over here.
Oh, flagpole's a good idea.
Yeah. See, it's got this
Where
pipe
are
coming
my
out
alumni?
of it. I don't know. Alumni. Any alumni on that might remember some sort of a pipe coming out of a rock way over here this would be the right side of the school if you're looking forward.
On the like northwest corner.
Yeah. Let's walk over here. See if anybody pipes in. I don't see Anna or Eddie piping in, so we'll wait. So the school is built and it stays here for many generations.
Well, you know, it's funny. In 1906, the citizens put it to the school board. You know, the school is bursting at the seams. They need another school, and everybody's like, nope. And I'm like, this school's. But again, people were craving education for their children.
There's a brick.
And we all know when schools are built, they don't take into account how quickly an area might grow.
That's right. There's a brick.
There's a lot of bricks.
This seems to be some sort of a wall or stair system or something right here. See that? That's still on the ground. That's from the building. That's from the school system. Now, here's this fence, and I don't know if y'all can hear the cars, but right down there is the loop. We're real close to the loop, so the south loop. Then, let's see, walk around here some more. I mean, it's fun to try to imagine what, you know, these old rocks were a part of, but you can tell they were foundational for something. There's just random rocks that are bricks that you could tell were placed there by man.
And there's a lot of tree roots. I'm just saying, like, you might think it's a pipe, but it's tree roots on some of them.
Okay, hold on. Actually, if you can hold this for a second, I am going to read some stories from the school because I did find that. Okay. Let me grab this.
Again,
okay.
The selfie stick working is not.
We're learning. We're learning. Here is a class picture. This is from
you.
Sorry.
I want a better angle.
Okay, I swear this says, and it's in your handwriting, Waterman Street, 1970. But I don't think that's.
FYI, that's not my handwriting. I could tell you already. I know
Look
it's
at that.
It's not my handwriting.
Oh.
I know it was a former intern.
Oh, okay. Okay. Maybe it's a 2. I don't even think this is 1920. Maybe it's
1920s probably, right?
So 1920. Okay, here's a school picture. Look at all those lovely little kids with their cute little haircuts. They're sitting on the steps of the school. So you can kind of imagine the front stairs there.
Can you show the teacher?
Yes, right
I'm
here.
just going to tell you that right now. I'm not going to mess with her.
Yeah, no, she's serious.
She doesn't take crap from nobody.
But you know, the memories that have been preserved of this school, everybody always just really hypes the teachers and how wonderful they were. And you know, many of the students that went here, you know, think about, you know, turn of the century and even into the Depression years and forward. A lot of these students, this was where they got 3 square meals a day, just like many students today, still, especially back then. They were literally walking to school barefoot and coming in, and this might have been the only source of heat that they would have all day. Granted, some of the memories were that the heating system was really jacked up.
Not in the beginning, though.
And actually, one of the memories was a student who said that if they wanted to get out of school or play hooky, all they had to do was go in when school was out and steal the fan belt for the heating for the furnace, because then if the school couldn't heat up, then they would cancel school that day. So they would go and steal the fan belt. So
oh my gosh! But like, you know, I don't think we printed out anything specific, but you're talking a school where very early on it was a female principal. After SV Sanford, Asnath Towers was principal here, and I've heard so many names. Let's see. We did do a Remember When club with early educators, and I believe the last Waterman Street educator that is left is Miss Page, if I remember that correctly. Mm-hmm. And then, but we had Alberta Kinney.
Oh,
but she
taught here?
She did, but before she married Bill Kinney.
Yeah.
Corinne Pace, Blanche Barnes, Harold Willingham's first wife. I believe her name was Jessie McCollum, if I remember that right. She taught here. But, like...
Yeah. Reed Brown was in a photo. I don't know that he was teaching here at the time, but there was a photo of honoring the teacher, four of the teachers that were retiring in the 1960s, I think, or 70s, and he was in a photo. Yeah. So I know he's still around.
And then
he's done one of our Remember When clubs.
The one teacher who whose family donated many things that Amy picked up a few years ago from the school.
The Howrens.
Howrens, Sarah Gresham Howren, if I remember that correctly. But yeah, I mean, this school meant a lot to a lot of people. Yes. And then before you read another story, let's mention just a few notable alumni.
Oh, I have a list. You go ahead.
Number one, Eddie Hunter.
Oh, of course.
Eddie has been a treasure trove for us, and we greatly appreciate it.
He is also one of our biggest followers on this show. Thank you, Eddie. And Anna.
Shouse, that's right. I could not remember her maiden name. Thank you, Anna and Eddie, for that. Alberta's last name. Luscious Lucius Clay.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. General Lucius Clay.
Whose birthday is actually coming up. Just saying.
General Lucius Clay. Oh, there's one bigger than him in the entertainment world.
Oh, I do know that answer.
Joanne Woodward.
How
about that, folks? She went to school here.
And supposedly, Regina Rambo Benson.
Well, her daughter is one of the ones who gives memories. Who they interviewed.
That would be Regina
Goldsworthy.
Stott.
Yes, so maybe your mom did too. She has a story too, but also Niles Trammell. So if those of you watched our video on Trammell Street on the homes over there, Niles Trammell. We also mentioned him with Alex McClellan with the PTA.
Yeah, and the one when we did Victorian Village is when we talked about Niles and Regina. Actually, we talked about both. He was
the president of NBC back when it was radio. And he was the one that came up with the dun dun dun, that little,
Any reason for her to do that? Any reason?
Dun dun dun. Or, that's probably totally wrong keys. Whatever it was, you get the point. Yeah. Then
I think that was all that one.
Dean Judson Ward of Emory University.
Oh yeah, very smart guy. Very very smart.
Fred Davison, president of UGA. There's another one. Telephone man Jasper Dorsey. I don't know. This is coming off of a newspaper article from...
That's from 78, right?
70-ish. Yeah, something.
Sorry, guys. Still figuring this bad boy out.
And Dr. S.V. Sanford. Yes.
I'm going to make a little segue right there. Those are the Waterman Street stars. And if anybody feels inclined to give these two faces stars, we're more than happy to have that.
Speaking of stars.
Woo!
Let me tell some of these stories. So
yes.
So in 1971, they did a school open house. This is when the school was still here in 1971, but it wasn't being used as a school at that point.
Not as Waterman Street School.
So after Waterman Street School closed, the Walker School, which we all know is a major school up on 41, they were
I chuckle because Walker Street takes over the old Waterman Street, and then they go and take over the old Sprayberry School.
Get your own building.
Get your own place.
No. They got enough money to.
Well, now they certainly do.
So,
hi, Rick from Dallas. Nice to have you.
Yes. So Waterman Street, becomes Walker. But in 71, they do sort of a school open house, like a Remember When thing. And Betty Hunter, who is former city councilwoman and a board member of ours for many years, she, back in 71, went around and interviewed a lot of people about the school.
She was heavy into Waterman Street PTA when her kids were going here.
Okay. Yeah. So some of the things, I'm not going to read them all, but some of them, she said in May 1904, teachers were told that they could not attend dances or card parties as it might be an example for evil to the young. Those teachers could not play cards or dance. It's like Footloose. I know.
It is like Footloose.
Yeah. And that was actually, she got that from minutes of the Board of Education from 1903. So I'm hoping that the school system still has those minutes.
They put it down in the minutes that you couldn't do that.
Dance. I'm telling you right now.
But, okay, Would they have done it if they were all men? I don't know about that.
They definitely were going to play cards, I'll tell you that much. Okay, she interviewed, among others, she interviewed Groover, Mr. Jake Groover.
Oh, thank you. Fred Davidson was also, who went here, was a vet and a co-owner of the vet clinic on Roswell Street.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So Mr. Groover, oh, he's the one that talked about the fan belt. That's the one I already said.
That's a great story.
I know. Yeah, Regina Benson Goldsworthy, who was, Regina's daughter, she's funny. She said that she used to ride her horse to school, but she was literally late every day to school. That sounds like my kids. Dad, don't tell Jeff that. And they suggested to her mother, which I can see them, they're not going to tell Regina Rambo Benson anything. They're going to suggest that they get her a bicycle instead of a horse, or a pony. So they did, and she got to school on time every day since then.
Depending on when this was, Regina Rambo Benson was probably a widow at that point because her husband had died only 10 years after they were married. And then if you're wondering how far that distance from the Benson house to here, the Benson house was where the Sun Trust is at the corner of the Loop and Whitlock Avenue.
That was a distance.
It's a distance.
Yeah,
it's a little bit of a distance.
Yeah. Now this property before the Loop was here, it would have backed up to the
where the lofts are now.
What's the house that they lived in? Bostwick Fraser.
Bostwick Fraser,
yeah, the
yes.
Bostwick Fraser house, and there was the other one. What was the other one called? It's on here somewhere. There were two historic homes back there. The property, it was somebody's property. Dang it! It's going to come to me.
It's the Bostwick's property.
It was another one.
Cooper Fraser Sanger? The Cooper Singers?
Maybe Bostwick. Okay, let's
it's
go
Bostwick.
with Bostwick.
It is Bostwick.
I know.
Because Phillips were the other way. I'm telling you, I know what I'm talking about.
Phillips were that way. So anyways, they backed up. That house was also where some of the teachers lived, right?
I think it was one of the ones that got taken out for the Loop, because I don't think that one's still around.
Another alumni was Judge J.J. Daniel. So, and of course, he was very prominent in the county, but of course, J.J. Daniel Middle School is named after him.
But also, you need to remember this too. This is a very important point with J.J. Daniel. He and his family actually lived in Smyrna. So this Waterman Street school early on was a school for kids not just in Marietta. You would have to pay, I believe, if you didn't live in the city limits to have your kid here. So it wasn't, again, free for everybody, but within the city limits. Because I think something said in there that like kids from Ackworth were coming here before their school system.
If they want a free school, they had to.
Well, or a school, period.
Yeah. Well, Ackworth had a couple of little schools. Kennesaw had a school too that was closer at that point.
Yes, and the Blackwell community had their school as well, but that was a little bit later. Let's show them. Do you want to show them the stairs before we
Yeah, we can go over there. We got to talk about the murder.
Well, that doesn't involve the school.
Well, it's near the stairs. Kind of.
It's across the street.
It's near the stairs.
There was no murder that I'm aware of at the school. I'm just saying. She wants a story of murder every time.
Murder and mayhem.
I don't think there was real mayhem, but there was some robbery. Or mayhem, maybe. Okay,
Yes.
this is a little hard. I'm going to turn around. Okay, so these are the townhomes. We're in the parking lot.
Look at that view. Yeah, get up.
Look at how spectacular this is.
Get up here. Can you climb up here and hold the thing?
I think I could do it better than the last thing.
Can you?
With my hands.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
If it was muddy, I wouldn't be able to do it. Look at this.
Beautiful view of the city.
Well, I'm not showing them that. I'm showing them the stairs.
Yes.
So these are the stairs, and they're actually there's two sets. I don't think this is the main front door. Like this is to the side. I think this one right here was the main front stair.
There's not two sets technically. I guess there's one set of two. Let me correct myself.
I wasn't going to correct you there because I didn't think you were wrong with whatever you said. But
yeah, these are cool. The railings are really neat. They've got a cool green patina on them.
We did look to see if the railings had any maker's marks on them, like local foundry or anything, and we couldn't come across any. But the townhomes run, I would say, almost 2/3 of the way up the street.
Oh yeah. Easy.
And then there's a few houses left, and we'll walk down in just a minute so you guys can see it. But so yeah, so the stairs here, we're just going to go down in just a second. If you hear that, somebody's asking what we're doing from the Salvation Army, and We're not doing anything bad. I promise.
Here,
We're just giving a little history.
Yeah.
10 to 1, some of them didn't even know that there was a school here, but that's okay.
Oh, okay. Okay, sorry about that. Thank you.
She only realized during our Life University one that she had to turn her mic off because you guys couldn't hear her. So I don't know if she's turned her mic off. I'm just saying. Don't know. Have no idea. Did you turn your mic off?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so if you guys heard that conversation,
yes.
Was it good? I have no idea.
Well, you know, they just wanted to make sure we weren't causing trouble.
Vicky, if there's anybody suspicious, it's us two. That's the truth. Now, I'm going to be very careful walking down these stairs because at a certain point, there is no, I mean, it doesn't meet the sidewalk. Let me show you guys. Yeah. So I'm at the bottom of the stairs.
Did you talk about the murder yet?
Not without you.
Oh, thanks.
I'm not going to talk about murder without you.
Okay. Let me find another shady spot.
It is going to be a little bit noisier here, but where that truck is just about to pass, there are some homes there, and those homes definitely look like they're about 100 to maybe 120 years old. I'm guessing built right around 1900 because they definitely have more of that bungalow style. They're super duper cute, but all of these townhomes would have been homes. And I do know at one point Mary Phillips, who was one of the descendants of the Watermans and the Phillips, did live here along with I want to say his name was Clifton Phillips. If anybody knew him as a surveyor around town, like plat surveyor, I ended up picking a bunch of stuff up from that house. Thank you, Lynn, for the stars. We appreciate it. All right, so let me turn and show you some of these super duper cute houses. I'm a huge sucker for bungalow style. I don't know about Amy, but I am a sucker.
Yes.
Now this one is not bungalow style. This is a little bit more farmhouse. But these last little three, and I can't really tell because the sun's shining in my angle. I love it when people kind of stop and are like, what are those girls doing? But we got three little bungalows right there, and then the Salvation, there's more houses across Alexander Street. So yeah. All right.
Beautiful area, for sure.
Oh, you know what, everybody? What? There is a space with benches, and we work smarter, not harder.
Okay.
Let's go sit on some benches.
Plus we'll be off of their property.
I think that's probably theirs, but I don't care. I'm not going to mind so much. So yeah, look at these cute little houses. FYI, I love it that a teacher works right there.
Love it.
I love it.
This is a city park. They did tell me that the city had a park area. Philip told me that. Philip Goldstein last night.
Who knew?
I think this is what he's talking about. There's a little
why don't you
area.
sit and I'll...
So this is...
Yes, Anna, that's right. That is... Here, I'm going to flip it around. You hold this for a second because I don't want to sit on my phone.
Okay. All right, where are we at? Oh, hello. Now there's a glare. Okay.
Just for us.
So I'm going to read about... And you think it was in one of these houses that we were just...
I don't know.
Well,
let's reread.
Possibly. We don't know.
No, hold on. It says, 4 years, Miss Green has lived alone in a home on Waterman Street, opposite the Waterman Street School. So it could be probably one of the townhomes.
Yeah, could be down there. Who knows? It's one of those, this area. But these neighbors surely would have been alerted to the alarming situation that occurred on
July 31st. 1919.
1919.
Miss Julia Green, 65 years old, died on the operating table at Dr. C.T. Nolan's sanitarium, which I believe we have talked about.
We have, and actually, also, side note, his wife was one of the first graduates of the school. One of the only female ones, too, in S.V. Sanford's class, I think.
Oh,
yeah.
Interesting.
No, not S.V. Sanford. Well, she was in his class. It was in J.J. Daniels. That's it.
Oh.
She was the only girl in his class.
So she was on the operating table following an assault at her home while she slept last night. So actually she died the night before. No clue has been given as to the guilty party in the brutal, mysterious murder. So she was very popular with all the neighbors' children because of her gift of storytelling and recitation. I want to say resuscitation, but that's not right. Because that's reviving a person.
She could have a gift for resuscitation.
I have no idea.
I mean,
Many of the school children were kept supplied with pies and peanuts by this old lady. Oh, that's sweet. She was seen going home at about 10 o'clock at night, and this morning one of the neighboring boys went over to her house about 10 o'clock in the morning and found the doors closed. He knocked on the door, and Miss Green dragged herself out of the bed and to the door. She fell 3 times in making the attempt. Seeing her condition, the boy helped her get back in bed and went for the police. Miss Green told the police that she remembered nothing of the attack, but that it must have happened sometime after midnight. The blows of the robbers rendered her unconscious as she slept, and she did not revive until this morning and was too weak to call for help. The bed clothing was soaked with blood and showed that Miss Green had been brutally beaten. See, these newspaper accounts are so detailed.
Yeah, back then, they really let it all out. They didn't hold back any details.
No. Her upper lip and one of her ears were split open, and her head and face generally were beaten in. She had been quite a character in the local life. She is the daughter of the late Judge Green of the Blue Ridge Circuit, but never married and has lived alone as a sort of a recluse. Well, I don't think she's a recluse if she's hanging out with the kiddos. But she was known as a well-educated woman, and is presumed that the house was entered for the purpose of robbery, and the intruder evidently expecting that Miss Green had hoarded a considerable amount of money.
Hoarded the money.
Yeah, you want to know how much money it ended up being that they found?
Yes, how much money?
$1.25.
$1.25. That was a big money. Sorry, I had to walk over here to the shade so I can read any of the comments. Rick Raines, I attended 6th grade at Central Elementary in Marietta the year before Marietta Junior High was built, and can't remember where it was. Can you tell us? Oh, the 6th grade Central. Oh, Vicky, you know, because Michael went there. Central was. Central. I know this. I know this answer. Vicky,
is it the 6th grade academy now, or is it the
I think
Center
it might
for
have
the
been.
Advanced? No, Pine Forest was the Center for Advanced Academics now, so it must be the 6th grade academy, if I'm remembering.
All right, we're gonna find that out for you, Rick, because I do know this answer, and I can't.
We do know this answer.
I'm sorry, it caught me off guard there. And Anna said that's where Gene and Ron Phillips lived.
Yes,
okay.
the house that I was talking about.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Because I met one of them.
Vicky said such beautiful homes. Okay, so I think there might be a little delay.
There is a little delay.
Yeah, so we'll see if Vicky off Lemon Street. So Central. Oh, was Central
the building
Lemon
that
Street
just
School?
got renovated?
That's right. They used that. Thank you, Vicky. I knew that. Yeah. Okay. You're right. So they used the school that's now been renovated to the Lemon Street building school that they have just renovated. That's where Central was. Yeah. Okay. Great.
Okay.
Great.
So
what else do we have? A fire.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Is that yours?
There's an article.
Is that yours?
Well, basically.
Well, what, Amy? Why is the building not here anymore?
Well, there's a story. So the city, I think, at a certain, not the city, the school system, at a certain point decided that school, as beautiful as it was really run down and needed so many improvements that it wasn't worth saving. Oh, Vicky said across the street from the renovated school. Okay, thank you, Vicky. That's where Central was.
Not only was it run down, it had become a haven for pigeons.
Yes, there was a teacher who was quoted as saying she remembered that while she was teaching, like, bird droppings would fall down from the ceiling, like craziness. So they needed a new school. They had already built Keith's school, but they really needed another new one to replace this one, and that was in the 70s, around 1970. I think. Is that what it says?
Okay, so it operated until 1971.
Okay.
And then from 71 to 76, it was the Walker School.
Okay.
And then hosted by, then it became the Salvation Army. The building was sold to the Salvation Army in 1970. So
yes.
While Salvation Army owned the building, Walker School was using the building.
Yeah, they were renting it. Now, I do know that at that time, the Salvation Army, the head of their... I believe he ran this office was Harry Livingston.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. So he was heavily involved in, and this is a Marietta, man who was very, he was a prisoner of war during World War II. He was very active in our community for many years. And so he knew the importance of this building. So when the Salvation Army acquired that, I'm sure he had a hand in wanting to preserve the building as well, if he could.
I was to say, I wonder if he was a Waterman Street kid.
I don't know.
I should have looked that up.
Possibly, possibly.
But
so then Walker School was here until 76.
Yes, and then in December of 77, DOT bought it for a reported sum of $170,000 to make way for the loop. Because, I mean, the loop is literally right back there.
Yes, but I think the DOT, I would be willing to bet they only bought that property where the loop was. Because Salvation Army is still here.
It is.
If you see. So Salvation Army kept a part of the property where the school building was. The DOT would have purchased the property that was behind it to put the loop in. So in 77, they decide they're going to demolish it. They know they're going to demolish it. And so they have kind of a coming home kind of a ceremony or event for alumni to come back and talk to teachers. And that was documented in the paper. They were selling off school desks and bricks. Some of y'all may have some commemorative bricks or desks from that point when they did that. Probably some other things. I'm willing to bet that's when Joe McIntyre got that
the water fountain.
Water fountain, because we have a water fountain from it. So so they were planning on tearing it down. Like, that was the plan. But, dun dun dun, there was actually, what date was that in 78? Does it say? In 1978, I think July maybe?
No.
Yeah.
May. You were close.
You know.
You were in the right direction.
But in May, there was a series of fires all around town this one day and night. There were all over the place.
Ready?
Yes, go for it.
An unoccupied mobile home at Marietta Mobile Home Sales on South Cobb.
Okay.
Then in the storage building at Marietta Junior High. Then motorcycle. 2 trash containers at a shopping center on Clay Street. Those 3 occur before they get the call here for Waterman Street. And Clay Street is actually not that far from here. So, this is at 1:48 a.m. Fire department records show, and that's when the building was set ablaze.
Yes. And by the time they got here, I believe it was already like 3/4 gone.
Yeah, about that.
And it pretty much just gutted the whole thing. Van, I don't know if you're still on here with us or not. Her husband was with Marietta Fire Department at that time, and she mentioned earlier in the program that he was here all night fighting it. So I don't know if you have anything else you want to add to that. But I can imagine it was a huge fire. Do you want to show the picture though?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
There's actually 2 different images. I'm going to turn it this way.
Well, the newspaper one, the one straight from...
Yeah.
This is the crane.
Okay, yep, there's the crane after the fire, handling the debris. But that other newspaper article had another fire of it ablaze. If you flip around, it's bigger.
Well, I like the tree.
Bigger is better.
No, tree. Oops, sorry.
So there it is, ablaze. Wow. I mean, can you imagine just full of fire and flame in that shell of a building? And so that's what happened to the building, and that's why it's no longer here. I mean, it's such a shame that at that point they weren't able to preserve it for something else. I mean, there's so many things that building could have been utilized as. Oh, yeah, museum. There's one.
Museum.
We have a great historic building.
We
don't need
do,
another one. We're
but
good.
like... Just the way that building looked, I'm like,
I know, it is
square
beautiful.
footage-wise, I think it had a little bit more.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. So that's Waterman Street. That's right.
I wish
so that's the school.
But you know what? To be honest, I think Amy was really thinking there was going to be less to see, but there is a lot of little treasures.
Yeah.
Like,
now, make sure you get permission to be on the property, or you're going to have people asking. All right, Van, the fire was huge and one of the worst fires in modern times. Okay. You know, I bet the fire department museum over there, the fire museum, has some information.
They have logbooks and stuff still, so they probably do.
Part of one of our goals at some point, we're going to be helping to archive and organize the fire department's archives. So we'll see if we run across anything there.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure we will.
Okay.
So.
Oh,
Vicki, it was such a beautiful school. I was really young, but remember the school. Yeah. Yeah, really, it wasn't that long ago, if you think about it. It was standing until 78, so, yeah.
So,
thank
you for everybody who contributed stars. Anybody who watches later, you can still offer or put in stars for us.
Hey, what? I heard there's another way we're raising money coming up. Yes. Little Bird told me.
Little birdie.
Yes.
So this morning we set up and got ready for our book sale, books only, tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. in our big room. And the room is spaced out, so like if anybody, masks, yes.
You have to wear a mask,
distance, yes. Hand sanitizer, yes.
FYI, Krista and I have both received our second vaccination. Yay! Woo-hoo.
Oh, Anna did too, and our
too.
other coworker will get his next week.
Yes.
So we were down for the count, all of us, on Tuesday, but we're good.
Yes.
We're good to go.
So we've got the sale tomorrow, books only.
Books only.
And,
$1 for paperbacks, $2 for hardcovers.
Woo, good deal.
So all the proceeds.
There are a ton of books. Hardbacks, softbacks, military, travel books, all kinds of stuff.
All kinds of kids books too. Kids books will be priced less than $1 as well.
Yeah.
Also, tomorrow is our Tomorrow is our pop in for family fun. So it's spring crafts. So you can come in, tour the museum, pick up some crafts to take home, and then from noon to 4 tomorrow as well, we will have the King of Pops.
Oh, I forgot about
We're
that.
going to be popping at the museum tomorrow.
We are popping. We have got the King of Pops coming to our Pop-In for Family Fun. That's a mouthful right there.
Yes.
That's exciting. I forgot we got that connection.
So we've got that happening tomorrow too. So book sale 10 to 4, museum 10 to 4. The pop-in really is from like 10:30 to 3:30, but you know, it's okay if you come a little earlier. A little bit. And then King of Pops is around noon. They're scheduled till 4, but it's really while supplies last.
Yeah.
And then also we will not be live next week. It will be our second stop in our cemetery tombstone tourism tour. If you did watch last week, we kind of teased where we were going to be. We didn't actually go to that one because the gates were closed.
Dang it. We'll get to that one. Don't worry. We're going to get to that one.
But again, with the gates closed, we will go through the...
That was the Vinings.
Pace family. Yeah. So next week we will be at, oh goodness, Bethel. Not Mount Bethel, but Bethel Baptist in Smyrna.
Yes.
That one was definitely an interesting one for us. But one of us will be available to like answer questions while it's happening.
Right.
It just, again, we weren't sure what next week was going to bring, so we've got that scheduled. And then Monday we're going to go out and film some more cemeteries. We're very excited about this.
Very much so, yes.
But yeah, and then I'm debating whether I want to announce it. No, I'm going to hold off.
What?
I'm going to hold off.
Tell me in my ear later. Okay.
You already know, so I don't need to tell you.
Just because I've known in the past doesn't mean I currently know.
No. But I would love anybody to come out tomorrow. I will be at the book sale. If you feel so inclined, you know, I'll have a donation bomb available.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
If you want to drop a donation, if you don't want to buy
because donations are the bomb.
Wow,
we're just keeping it going for everybody, trying to bring history to you and keep everything going during COVID for you guys. We're open at the museum. We hope to see you soon, and thank you as always every week for joining us, and we will see you next week.
Bye guys.
Bye.
Thank you.